What's going on, everybody? My name is Aiden and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a question to ask you guys, and the question is simple as this. Has the NBA draft become too predictable for the Chicago Bulls? What do I mean by this? Well, basically, everywhere I've looked, because I find it hard to talk about the draft this season, because it feels like everywhere I look, everywhere I turn, everywhere I read, every comment I see, it's about the exact same players. Basically the same 3 or 4 players I've talked about already. It seems like everybody believes one of those players are coming to the Chicago Bulls, therefore making that 12th overall pick and making the NBA draft a predictable outcome. Or is it? Because at the end of the day, Bulls fans are one thing, the organization itself is different. So is it predictable? Is it okay to be predictable? Ultimately, can we see one of those players, whether it's Derek Queen, Asa Noel, Thomas Sorba, any of them? Maybe there's someone I'm forgetting. I'm sure there is. But those players that have been linked to the Bulls time and time again, is it predictable to see one of them become a Chicago Bulls player? Or will they go for someone completely out of the realms of possibility? Before we get any further, if you liked the video and you want to see more from me, drop a like, drop a follow, and or subscribe if you are new. And let me know in the comments below your thoughts about whether or not you believe this 12th overall pick, this NBA draft 2025, has become too predictable. Now, one of the best things about the NBA draft is its unpredictability. I mean, sure, we all know Cooper Flag is going to go number 1, and Dallas are going to have an absolute meltdown if it doesn't. Sure, we know that the Spurs and the 76ers, whether they keep the picks or trade the picks, are going to get better next season because of their position they're in right now. Sure, we know all those things, right? There are predictabilities in the NBA lottery and in the NBA draft as well. But for the most part, the sheer excitement of not knowing who you're getting and hopefully getting someone that can change your perception of your organization for many years to come is the beautiful part about the NBA draft. When we drafted Matas Bazelis last season with the 11th overall pick in the NBA draft, look, I'm sure many people wanted it, but I don't think it was as cut and dry as, yep, we're taking Matas Bazelis and it's the easiest choice in the world. Yeah, he did drop down to us. It proved to be the right selection in a not hypothetical, in I don't know what it's called, but looking back on it, of course, you know, it was the right choice, definitely. But at that time, there were not many people that were saying, yep, we're getting Matas Bazelis and that's it. You know, we all wanted it. Doesn't mean the Bulls were going to do it. The 4th overall pick with Patrick Williams. How many people thought we were going to get Patrick Williams? I remember the day before Patrick Williams got selected with the 4th overall pick, making a video saying the Bulls, it was leaked that they wanted Patrick Williams, and I was saying everybody needs to be patient, give the guy a chance, let's wait and see what happens, and we got Patrick Williams. And yeah, a lot of people now have lost their patience for sure. So there's unpredictabilities with the NBA draft, to say the least. So to sit here and say, has it become predictable, is actually a bit of a sad thing for me, because I find it hard to talk about different draft prospects. I find it hard to talk about guards. I find it hard to talk about certain forwards or even certain centers at this point, because it seems like everybody has this mindset that we need to pick a center that can block a shot. That seems to be the mindset with everybody at the moment. And it makes it hard to talk about different prospects. And I'm not saying it's a fans thing or a commons thing. I'm saying it even from analysts and draft prospects, mock drafts, all of those things. It makes it hard to talk about a guard when we fully know that there's a very high chance we're not getting a guard. So, yeah, it makes it very difficult. So, I do think, in many ways, as a content creator, as a fan of the Bulls, and knowing what they need and hoping they get what they need, as well as trying to get the best prospect available, I do believe this draft class and this, you know, draft in general has become very predictable for us. With that being said, there's a completely different side that we haven't mentioned yet, and that is the front office. I'll tell you this much right now. I'll say this, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I think there's a high possibility the Chicago Bulls could not care less what any of us think about the NBA draft. You know, this isn't a fan favorite competition. This isn't a, you know, a popularity contest. The Bulls are doing the most scouting, the most reports, talking to the most people, doing the most training sessions, and they know the most information. So they know more than us. They know more than any other content creator. They know more than any other YouTuber, commenter, regular fan, executive, TV analysts. They know more than anyone about the players that are in this upcoming draft. Obviously, maybe outside of the other 30 teams, of course. All that research means something, ladies and gentlemen. So it might be predictable to us. Yeah, we need a rim protector. Of course we do, brother. We need a center for the future. Yes, of course we do. Absolutely we do. 100% we do. But they are looking at every player. They're not looking at just centers. They're not looking at just guards. They're looking at forwards. They're looking at potential Josh Giddey replacements. They're looking at all of it. Does that mark predictability to you? I don't know. Maybe by the end of it, it will be predictable. Maybe by the end of it, we get our center that's 7 foot, blocks a shot, grabs a rebound, runs in transition, and does the basic stuff that we need in that center position. Maybe we go and get, for example, Asa Noel, who I think I said was 6'11", if I'm not mistaken, is able to do a lot of things, but couldn't shoot the three, and maybe doesn't always fit exact needs for the Chicago Bulls. But that's predictable. What happens if we get a guard? I'm not saying we're going to, but what happens if we do? What happens if we get a small forward? Someone that's like 6'6", and just on the wing, chilling, living life, doing the small forward type of things. What happens if we do those things? So yeah, I find it hard to talk about draft prospects, and that's why I'm going to ask, please continue to leave your draft prospects in the comments, because I want to get to as many of them as possible. But yeah, I think as fans, we all have the same suggestions, every single one of us. There are not many people that I know that are going outside the ordinary here. Everybody's suggesting the same 3 or 4 guys. So as fans, content creators, it's very predictable. But what if it isn't for the front office? I'm trying to get things a little bit more entertaining, man. This draft is, for me, this draft class, draft prospects, it's been very boring. So mix it up. Put some drama in there. I don't know. That's my video. I'm just going to leave that with you guys. Leave it up in the air. Do you trust this Bulls team and the Bulls organization to make the right choice? Maybe they go for the unpredictable. Maybe they go for the raw talent. A talent for the future. In a position we already need. Maybe it can happen. We've seen it before. We could see it again. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. Take care. And peace.